to episode number 47 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube, as always, with my co-host, Stefan Loeffler at Junk Wax Twins, Ben Wilson at our trading cards. And I'm Tim Shepard, Big Shep 79. We are a podcast for collectors by collectors, hoping to bring you a smart and insightful podcast about trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on YouTube. You can always follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. You can follow us. You can find us available on iTunes most of the time, on Stitcher, YouTube, and check out our new website, aboutthecards.wordpress.com. We have I know I teased an article last week. I haven't had yet time to post it that Ben's done, but it's there. It will be up shortly. So it will be outside hopefully tomorrow, and I'll send out links to all that so you guys can check it out and enjoy. So what's up, fellas? It's been a week. How have you been doing?
I've dealing with a storm again this week, but the internet's holding up for now, and I've got a cold, so if you hear me sniffling or coughing in the background, I'm sorry. But we got to do what we got to do.
Fighting through it, Lou Gehrig style.
Yep, Danny Thompson style.
Ben, how's your week been, bud?
I'm doing good. You know, work's getting the best of me, but that's all right. That's what we have this show for. It's a nice break, be able to chat cards. I do have a shout out. Can I throw a shout out real quick?
Sure. Yeah, take the stage.
All right. Anybody who watches us live on YouTube or watches the YouTube feed knows that I'm not using my normal headset with the microphone because I got this little guy, and I got this little guy this week in the mail. I did not order it, and I was actually thinking it might have been something else, and when I opened it up, it was a new microphone, and it had a little tag in there that said, "From your best friends, Steph and Tim." So I want to thank you guys for gifting this to me. I really do appreciate it.
Well, it wasn't us, so there must be another Steph and Tim that like you, because I know it wasn't us. No, I'm kidding. No, you're welcome, bud. No, as we said, Steph, the Loeffler sent over the idea, and it was something we just couldn't pass up, and we love the show, and we love doing it with you, and it's fun. So if we can, it's always one helping out the other, and whatever we can do, right? That's what we do. You need a card, I need a card. We send cards back and forth, So
speaking of, it just got mine in today. Thank you, ladies.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. I did send out some care packages this week. Steph got a box I've been holding on to for a while. Cardboard Icons and his son, they're picking up a small box from Ben and I that I've had for 6 months, and I've been slowly adding to some of it. So it's great. So it's always fun to do that. So when you get those little mail days out there, so share those. Those are some of my favorite. When you get that little surprise mail day comes, and you're like, "What the hell?" That's all.
No, it's nice. Speaking of which, we can throw a shout out to Joey, who's in our chat room. He's hooked me up with some cards recently, and I appreciate those as well. I threw him a shout out on Twitter, but since he's in there,
yeah,
he's got a great blog too. Dub Mentality will. He's on our website in the blog section of good blogs. I think he is, right? I don't want to.
Yes.
Okay, good.
He's not. He will be after the show.
That's right.
Editor error. If not, no, I believe he is. No, so it's one of those things. And speaking of shipping, so we want to have a little PSA, a little public service announcement as we start the show. There was a tweet from our good friend Million Cubs from Bo. Steph's pulling it up there. There we go. It said, another reminder, bubble mailers cannot be sent first-class envelope, must be sent first-class package. Right. He had some postage to do of $2.64 when he had a package come. So guys, and just know that, guys and gals, and we want to talk, what's the best way to ship cards? Now, we have PWE, plain white envelope for those that you don't get that, and then bubble mailers. And so my thing is if it's going to be like if I'm sending, say, Ben, I live close enough to Ben where we just save up and we'll meet up at a card show or gives us an excuse to go to the LCS or whatever. But if I was going to mail him a card and it was a single card, and I was giving it to him and he just said, hey, if you come across one, let me know. I'm going to send a PWE. I'm going to put it in a little, I use the card savers. I don't use the top loaders, but I use the card savers with the card and a penny sleeve, and then I always put some packaging, like some paper, another piece of paper around it, and tape it up and send it off and seal it all up right. That's how I do PWE. Now, if it's going to be something where it's like autographed, it's got a relic, it's a bunch of stuff, I'm going to drop it in a bubble mailer. Well, you know what I'm going to use? I'm going to use PayPal shipping because you get discounts and it's cheap. It's like $3 to do a bubble mailer. So I just want to know you guys, what your thoughts are on the best way to ship cards and what you think on PWE. If you like that, don't like that. I don't want to hear any. I didn't get your friend J Mac, but but what do you guys like to do? What do you like to see when you're getting cards?
Well, I mean, it depends on naturally how much and how much you order. I don't think you would have PWE'd everything you sent me. It's just not economical, given that the box weighed a good 20 pounds. But no, I mean, if you're going to send a few cards each, yeah, and the value is just like base cards, sleeve, top loader, and bubble mailer out the window.
Yeah.
Bare minimum. Sleeve, team bag, top loader if necessary.
Yeah,
and some extra protected.
Yeah. Whenever I send cards in a bubble mailer, I'm making sure that the top loader, penny sleeve in there, and a team bag, and put it in there. The supply, like those, you can get those supplies.
Never.
So Ben, how do you like when they come?
Yeah, it really depends. If you're buying it, if it's a $5 buy, it should probably come PWE. Our friend Cardboard Icons, Ben Aguirre, ended up pulling the final yellow Walgreens parallel I needed, and he's like, "Dude, it's yours." He goes, "PWE, okay?" It's like, yeah. I mean, you're giving me a card for free, and you're covering the cost of shipping. Who am I to say otherwise? I mean, if I had told him, "Hey, let me shoot you a couple of bucks, and can you throw it in a bubbler?" I'm sure he would have.
Yeah.
But as long as there's that conversation beforehand that, hey, I'm sending this PWE, especially if there's money changing hands. That's the worst thing, whether it's eBay, Sport Lots, ComC, or private, whether that's through social media or otherwise. As long as I'm giving you money, you're sending me an item or items, and the postage is going to be X, whatever that is.
Yeah.
That's really all that matters, But if you are shipping PWE, please know what you're doing, because if you don't,
to give you an idea, 1 ounce equals 1 stamp, and you can go to the post office and weigh it, or like my wife has a little a food measuring scale for when she's done baking and stuff and cooking. So every once in a while, it's in my office, right? Because I'll weigh everything out, I'll package it up and weigh it out before I seal it up to make sure, okay, it's PWE. Does it need 1 or 2 stamps? And majority of the time, like if you have 3 cards, a stamp will do, but I always put a little extra, what's 50 cents to make sure it gets there. I have a funny story about Steph's box. So the post office, it's 5 minutes from my house. I went to take his box Sunday night because Monday at work was going to be insane and I wasn't going to be able to get to the post office, and I wanted to make sure it got out. And so I went and I tried to put it in, and the big thing inside the walk-in post office wouldn't open. Like, it didn't move at all. So I'm like, damn it. So I drive up to the other one about 20 minutes away. I go inside, drop it in, push the lever up, open it back up to make sure my box disappeared. It didn't. So I do that about 3 times. And then I look in, I notice there's a bigger box flopping up, blocking mine. So I stick my big old arm in there and I'm moving it. And then all of a sudden my box gets wedged. And then my arm won't come out, and it's stuck from a little past my elbow, like up on my bicep. And my cell phone's in my car, and it's 9:30 on a Sunday night. And I'm going, oh,
see, that's where I dislocate my shoulder.
I'm going to gnaw off my arm, or I'm going to spend the night in the post office with this homeless guy back here. And so I get my other arm in there, and I finally shove my box enough where it spins and it falls down, and it like released. I like fly back a little bit. So I got this nice bruise under my arm, and a good story about how I almost lost my arm trying to get Steph a box of Minnesota Twins.
God, what I wouldn't give to have that on film.
Oh, I bet that would be fantastic.
Blackmail for days.
That would have been great. No, I mean that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And what area? What city did you say that was in?
It was in Roseville. So I sold something online, and I sent a whole bunch of stuff out a couple weeks ago, and this PWE went out, and it got delivered to the guy, and he messaged me back, hey, he sent me a picture, hey, you didn't put a stamp on this, and I had to pay postage due. And I was like devastated. I'm like, dude, I mean, it was $1.50, I think is what he spent, and then 50 cents on the shipping. I just charge him for the stamp, or whatever, right? So I go, let me refund you the money back and then some. And so we go back and forth. But I felt so terrible inside that he had to spend more money out of his pocket to get a Max Kepler parallel out of opening day. So refunding his money back. But it's like, he was cool with it. He understood. And, that stuff happens. So anyway, just be awesome when you ship. Think about how you'd like to receive it. The golden rule. Anyway, we're gonna hop in the week that was last week's release. His Topps Living Week 60. Nice week. It was, I think, one of the better weeks we've had. We had the card number 4 overall in there. So card 178, Xander Bogaerts of the Red Sox, sold about 3,800. We had Vlad Guerrero's card 179, Vlad Guerrero Jr., the rookie third baseman from the Blue Jays, who is hitting like $160 with 1 RBI, but his RBI knocked in Justin Smoke. And a little history, Justin Smoke's first RBI knocked in Vlad Guerrero Sr. So think about that. The kid knocked in his dad, and then he knocked in the guy as an adult, and that's pretty crazy. He sold just shy of 28,000, which put him 4th overall. Didn't meet the 100,000 or even a 40,000, even 30,000. So I was kind of disappointed there. But as somebody that purchased 5 or 6, I'm happy. Card 180, Nelson Cruz, the DH of the Minnesota Twins, sold over 3,500. But you can always check out at Topps Living Stat for a full breakdown of where these cards fall respectively in the set by team and also by position. Now, Steph, did you pick up Nelson Cruz?
I have one on back order via Twins Jake.
Nice. Yeah, but Dub said he actually bought 2 Vlads and picked up Brave so far. And I know that Doug from Mojo Break gave us a huge shout out on their podcast last week, saying they were talking about Topps Living. He picked up 60 Vlad Guerreros and said, God, I hope he hits 100,000. Then Dan gave him some crap because he's like, dude, it's not going to be valuable if there's 100,000. You own 60 of them, and so he was happy it was under 30 grand or 30,000. But he said, hey, about the cards, these guys are the experts on this stuff. Check out their podcast and talk about that. So that was an awesome shout out for some guys we, I think really like, and they have a great show. They do a little different show. It's similar, but different at the same time. They have a little more sports talk. So if you haven't checked out The Hype, check them out. They've been doing this one for about this version of the show almost 2 years now. So we also had 2019 Panini Score Football came out. I actually picked up a Jake Browning auto this week for a couple bucks, so I was happy about that. And then also 2018-19 Leaf Ultimate Hockey came out as well. And this week we have week 61 of Topps Living as hot off the presses rolls right on. Card 181 angered me. Paul Goldschmidt, first baseman, St. Louis Cardinals. Don't
Not
get
the
it.
Diamondbacks.
Why was there not a Diamondback? Just BS. Card 182, Ramon Laureano, defensive whiz and rookie outfielder of the Oakland A's. And I didn't even know this guy was still playing Major League Baseball. I think he's probably one of the most overrated players ever to play Major League Baseball. Card 183, Howie Kendrick, second baseman of the Washington Nationals. Do not understand this guy is still being in the league, and then even why he was like an all-star a few years, and I don't understand Howie Kendrick, but he's in the set, so there he is.
Well, he still plays with the Angels, right?
No, he's with the Nationals. Yeah. He's been on about 6 teams, I think, since he was on the Angels and overrated then. So Goldie just really upset me, guys. I don't want to talk much about Topps Living is what it is now. Laureano's a cool pick this week, I think. I think some people are surprised Nick Senzel wasn't in there as he made his debut this week, and he's a pretty big one. Michael Chavis also is another rookie that's come up, but Laureano's been stud all year long. He's been on the team. So, Ben, how many did you pick up?
That's what I was going to say. How many hundreds has Ben grabbing?
No, I only buy one. One is all you need. But what's funny is I was just talking to our friend Chef Chris 49er, who's a big Laureano guy. He's the one that keeps putting together all of our rainbows. And he and I had been chatting this morning because Mike Fires threw a midnight no-hitter last night. The A's game had been delayed for 2 hours. And so most A's fans had either they left or, it's well past midnight. So Laureano also robbed a home run. And so I said, Fires is getting tops now, waiting for it to break. $5. He goes, Laureano robbed a home run, make it 10. Laureano gets dropped on Living. He goes, it looks like I'm spending 15. I was like, yeah, right, dude. Like, you, of all people, are only buying one Topps Living Ramon Laureano. Come on.
Right.
So I bought one. I don't know how many he ultimately bought, but I can almost guarantee you it was not one.
So how many do you think I bought today?
3.
Out of the 3 that dropped,
No.
I
How
would
many
say
Laureanos do you think I purchased?
5.
I picked up 3. Steph, you were correct.
Hey!
But how many of the 3 cards do you think I picked up?
3 Laureano.
3. Just the Laureanos.
Yeah, I didn't pick up the Goldschmidt, you bastards.
I picked up the Goldschmidt. I picked up a Goldschmidt.
Yeah, I had to pick it up just to tear it up because it upsets me that much. I was really pissed when I saw that. I was just like, oh, you. Yeah. Also this week, coming out this week today, 2018-19 Panini Spectra Basketball. Only $280 a box, 1 pack per box, 8 cards. You're going to get 4 autos and a mem in your box. Panini, the Spectra Basketball cards take a chromium to like a premium level. While Prism and Optic have more rainbows, this is more geared towards autographs and mem. So they have, and I remember talking about this last year, some of my favorite ones, the neon. So you got neon blue, neon green, neon pink, neon orange, and then the 1-of-1 Nebula, which is just awesome to say, Nebula. And they are sharp-looking basketball cards. So I mean, you're spending quite a bit to hopefully hit a nice parallel auto of a rookie.
Presumably, this is the Nebula color. If so, I absolutely love the space effect on the background.
Yeah, it looks like he's floating in air. Like,
right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty sharp. So go check it out as the playoffs continue. And I think the Bucks eliminated the Celtics tonight. So the Bucks playing the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they're going to play in Toronto, and I really hope Toronto doesn't make the finals. So,
well, me too, as a Spurs fan, and of course, how that all played out.
Also, this week, 2019 Topps Tier 1 baseball launched today. $135 a box, 1 pack per box, 3 cards per pack. Though some boxes do have 4 cards. I think it's like every 4th box has 4 cards in there. You're going to get 2 autos and 1 mem. The base set's really all autographs. They also are offering a breakout autograph mystery redemption, player A, and it's been announced it was Vlad Guerrero. I saw one pulled today live with Mojo. There's the big chase cards in this have the reason people are opening this stuff is because you have on-card signatures, huge patches, and bat knobs. And tight pop bat pieces, right? The one new mem set in this is Tier 1 uniform button relics. They're numbered to 5 or less, and they have buttons for both jerseys and pants. So you could have Mike Trout's belt or a pants button in your hands.
That's a bit too close, but no. From the pictures and mock-ups that we've seen that I'm scrunching here, the set looks nice. However, I'm going to call them out. If you're going to release a patch like this, make it straight.
Yeah. Well,
why is that crooked?
Yeah. The other thing I noticed too, watching some breaks today, is there was a lot of chipping issues. The on-card autos are amazing because the cards have a really nice gloss to them, so they really kind of dance in the light. It looks really neat.
Nice.
But on the autos and on some of the relics too, I noticed like chipping on the corners and on the bottom part of the card. So that kind of could be an issue with some of them. So just be aware of condition on these guys. But what's brewing next week's releases? We have 2019 Topps Big League.
No checklist.
No checklist yet. But you know what? That kind of surprised us last year. That was a surprising product last year. It replaced Bunt, which is nice because Bunt had the digital format and then it got confusing and you were trying to buy Bunt. And then anyway, 2019 Panini Prism baseball releases. So their Chrome version of baseball. And 1819 Panini. Well, we talked about that. I guess they pushed Spectra back. I guess I'll listen here twice now. I guess Spectra did get pushed back. Tim, read your notes. Part of these notes were done this week, part were done last week. So maybe Spectre got pushed back to next week. So, yeah, we won't talk about it, I guess. Oh, I'm a dum-dum. Anyway, infield chatter. It's been a long week at work, folks. I can blame it on that, I guess, a little bit. Not that, and I'm old. So, what are you going to do? So, did you guys see this? I think Steph's the one that shared this with us. Leaf is buying back cards. So, at www.cardboardcash.com, they are buying certain cards back. So Steph pulled it up here. Now we're talking a 66 Jim Palmer, 68 Topps Mantle, 80 Ricky Henderson, a 75 Topps Brett. Now what they're looking for is they're looking for 8 BGS grades, or 4 graded 8 BGS cards. Are going to pay you $140 a piece, and then they're looking for 5-7 BGS grade. They're going to give you $70 and so on. So they have different amounts, and they have a ton of different, basically rookie cards or big cards in the hobby to look for. Warren Moon, 85 Topps. If you get a 9.5 BGS, they're going to be a $270. A PSA 10, $300. And that's hard card because it has those black corners, black edge, black frame. So if you do have some of these cards, check it out and get some cash. But I think there's some pretty fair prices on there. But they're looking for some big time cards. If you have a 68 Mantle graded 7, they're going to offer you $265. They're looking for 3 of those. So it's telling me they're doing some kind of a product.
So,
right.
Well, that was my follow-up question is what they've got all these cards now. Now what? I imagine there's going to be some kind of a slabbed product coming out. I mean, they're not just going to let these sit. So,
yeah. I mean, a lot of these are Hall of Fame rookie cards. I mean, the only one Hall of Famer I don't see on there that's listed is Bo Jackson. His 88 Topps football. I think everybody else on here is a Hall of Famer. There's basketball cards, there's football, there's baseball. I don't see that stick and puck on here. They have the Shaq Upper Deck one, which is cool. There's some new guys on here. So Chris Bryant, Kevin Durant, Kevin Garnett. They don't have
285 for 14 Bowman Chrome, 13 Bowman as it were.
Benintendi, his Bowman Auto. So good. Check it out at cardboardcash.com. See what's popping there. So
or don't.
But if you have some high iron cards that are graded, that's a good one. We're going to talk about grading a little bit later tonight. Dude, Shohei Ohtani is about to make his major league debut.
Not his MLB debut, his 2019
debut.
Like I said,
I'm the one on cold medication.
Yeah, well, I didn't tell you what I was. This isn't water, folks. So, I noticed Shohei. No one's talking about him. I've noticed his cards are now in the $1 or $2 box at the LCS as rookie cards. So, him coming back, or you think people are all of a sudden going to realize, oh yeah, shit, this is the guy we were mad hungry for last year that we totally forgot about because Vlad Guerrero came up and we're slobbing on him now, and he's hitting $150. So,
no,
and the Blue Jays just got swept and only scored 1 run against the Twins.
Well, he just sat out today's game, didn't he? I don't think he was in the lineup. But I don't think there's going to be there'll be a slight bump, I'm sure, in Ohtani cards because he'll be back in the. I mean, if he comes out and hits a couple home runs in a week, sure, people are going to jump on him again. But it's going to have to happen organically. I don't think all of a sudden Ohtani's been activated. So sell your cards. Yeah, unfortunately, this is the reality we live in. If it's Franco and Guerrero right now, it was Ohtani before, and it was Soto before that, and it was Bryant at some point, and so on and so forth on all the names that are, it's always going to be next man up. Yep. And so now would be the time, if you are a prospector, to maybe try to grab some Ohtani's cheap because they are selling under what they were. But again, just be careful with it. Buy just enough. If you're okay buying, if you bought the Guerrero Topps Living, You bought 10 of them for $50. Be okay spending that $50 and knowing that it wasn't mortgage money or food money or gas money. Especially if you plan on sticking them on a shelf.
Yeah, or in a box somewhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, it made sense, obviously, that with his injury, there was a lot of questions about whether he was coming back and if and when he came back, i.e. now, how he would play and how he's going to hold up after the surgery. And it's going to be interesting the next couple of weeks. I wouldn't list immediately, but
but if he comes back bashing home runs,
right? But remember, a lot of his value was in the two-way player. If he becomes a DH long term, and that's it, that's what he ultimately is, then his value is going to take a severe knock. I mean, his value is in the intrigue of him being this young foreign player that was coming over before his prime. Unlike some of the guys of yesteryear that had to wait till their late 20s or 30s. But he played two positions. If you knock that off, understand, I mean, yeah, his value is going to be much more as a DH than it would be as a pitcher long term. But just, I think the Ohtani buzz is kind of passed for a while.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things to watch. I mean, for me, it's gonna be one of those interesting things to keep an eye on and see, and it just shows you how quick and how squirrel this
how fickle
is, right? Like it's crazy sometimes, and it's like, man, you're all over. You're pre-seeing Ohtani and Soto and Victor Robles, if anybody remembers him, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh God, I'm on to these guys now. This is what I'm doing. Oh, okay. It's we've talked about like collect what you want, collect how you will, be yourself, but make your own make your own rules. Just don't follow what everybody else is doing, because I think that's what happens on some of this stuff is that, oh, so and so's doing it, I got to go do that. Oh my God, everybody's after this guy. I got to have a Wander Franco now. And
my sister, when she was a teenager, loved. And I'm sure it's indicative of most teenagers. She was in love with somebody for a week. I love this person, and this is the one. Until next week when somebody else, smiles her way, and next thing you know, that's who I'm in love with. Either that or it's the toddler. I want this toy because you have this toy. So now I also want the toy.
Yeah.
But as soon as I set it down, then it's lost and forgotten from not one, but both kids.
Yeah.
And
they don't want it anymore. Why do I want it?
Yeah, and our friend Joey in the chat room brought up a good point that there is the international interest.
Sure.
So he does have an additional market, unlike other players that would be in his position. Coming off of a prolonged injury.
Yeah. No, I just thought that was interesting. We also this weekend we have Mother's Day, so for all you guys out there, make sure you take care of your mom, your mother-in-law, your stepmom. Maybe she isn't even related to you, but she acts like your mom because we all have those moms. Your wife, your sister, whoever that's out there that's a mom. Make sure you take care of them. I picked up and I shared this on Twitter, a glorious painting of my son done by Gypsy Oak. And I already gave it to her because the day I got it, I couldn't wait. It was that amazing. And she broke down and was like, we're getting it framed. It's going on this wall. We're taking all those things, all those pictures off the wall. This is going up there. It's a real piece of artwork that we will always have. And, I also ended up receiving some 4x6 black and white versions. There we go. So I'll pull it up. 4x6 black and white versions to hand out. So those are going out to my mom and her mom this week, and our son's godmother. So, it was super awesome. And yeah, Ben's the one that said, hey, maybe this is a good idea because he did something similar for his wife for Christmas.
Yeah. Jeff at Gypsy Oak is one of the most talented artists I've ever seen. And if you're a baseball fan, his work is incredible. But he does do commissions like this. So if you're in the market for a one-of-one, I'm right there with you, Tim. I mean, I got mine in October and I sat on them until December.
I don't know how you did that.
and I had one done of my uncle who passed away, 7-8 years ago now, for my dad, and just knowing what was out in the garage for her and not being able to share it with her, and I gave it to her Christmas Eve, so it didn't get lost in the shuffle of Christmas Day. But if you're looking for a one-of-one unique piece for, obviously not Mother's Day now because he wouldn't have the time to complete it, but birthdays, anniversaries, obviously Christmas, any other special occasion, or just because Jeff is awesome.
Oh yeah, amazing.
And,
really easy to work with. I sent him a couple of photos, and he asked me some questions, and then he went to where I let him do his thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he came back to me and he showed me the pictures of progress, and he goes, "Do you want me to do it like this, this, and this? Like I would." He goes, "If it was my kids, I would leave it just like this." And I told him, I said, "Jeff, you are the artist. You do what you feel is best." Yeah. And I mean, I can't say enough nice things about him. He is such a phenomenal artist.
Oh, yeah. And he's told me, he's like, because the picture I sent, he wasn't wearing a hat, and he goes, "I'm having a hard time with hair lately. Can I put what about having a hat?" And I was like, "Dude, go for it." And it's awesome. My buddy likes because he's an Ohio State fan, and I always give him crap. And he's like, "Oh, look, he's in the scarlet and gray." Yeah.
No, what it really looks like is one of those like old timey 1910s baseball uniforms, like something Walter Johnson would wear.
Yeah,
has that old timey feel to it that you just really can't recommend. Not recommend, but
well, I like it because it shows how cute he is, and it makes, and then and obviously you got it from me, right?
Yeah, you are a beautiful man. You're a beautiful man. But when you look at the picture of Robbie, to speak to Steph's point, that's encapsulates Jeff's work, because most of what he does is he's not doing the current players. He's doing all the guys that played 50, 75, 100 years ago. So that style fits so well into his style of artwork.
I think the newest player he does is well, here we go. Here's the two of us hanging out. There we go. The newest player I think I've seen him do is Don Mattingly, the most current. So,
yeah, he's too cute to be yours.
Yeah. Well,
no offense, none taken.
And so Mother's Day, we were going to talk about the cards that your mom threw out. So, did you ever get that? I mean, I know Topps a couple years ago there was an insert set that 2010 that had all those cards your mom threw out. Did you guys ever lose any cards because your mom tossed them?
Only in a military move. And there were more cards that I threw out that I just didn't want anymore.
Ever happened to you, Benjamin?
No. I mean, you've met my dad. He's the collector of things. He's not, it's like the whole, jack of all trades, master of none. That's why I always give him a hard time about being a card collector or not, because it's just like, that's what you're excited about right now. But when my parents divorced, he took all of that stuff and put it in his storage unit. So it's because of him my collection survived all these years. But yeah, my mom, I don't want to say she knew better, like, she knew better or else. But our house was full of so many collectibles that she knew the value associated and the personal value, not just the monetary worth. So no, she never threw anything out that I'm aware of.
Yeah, my mom threatened a few times, but never did. So it's always funny to hear about those guys. Like, yeah, I had 10 52 Mickey Mantles, and my mom threw them out when I was at college. And it's like, okay.
Well, and the reference that my coworker made was that if you had a nickel for each time you heard that from someone, you could actually afford one.
Yeah.
Well, and I was just about to type. Joey shared that, his dad had all the good ones: Mantle, Williams, Robinson, so on. It's like being, Tim could probably test this as Ken and Joey and so many of our friends. 1989 playground. I was probably fifth grade-ish at that time. Everybody had 5 Upper Deck Griffey cards. Oh, you have 5? I have 7. That's the same kind of thing that our dads, our grandparents all had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't have one until 2014. 2015, actually. I'm sorry, 2015.
Yeah. No, you should have been a kid on the playground in 89. You would have had,
I wasn't a kid on the playground in 89. What do you think I was doing in 89?
I don't know. Not having your 5 Griffies.
No, but I did have, as Dub said, I had some Field Plantier.
But did you have 3 PS3s? Sorry. Inside joke.
No, but I have my GameCube controllers in my backpack.
Original or reprint?
Original.
He's got the one with the Batman watermark on it.
Yeah, so I just thought it was funny. Speaking of purchasing, so Friday morning, I think it was, right? Friday morning. Topps total. I got an email. Topps total was, or somebody tweeted out like there was only a few hours left in Topps total wave 1, and I was like sitting there and I was like, I don't know. And so I said, dang it, you know what? I made a new account on Topps Total with a different email a couple weeks ago because my old one I couldn't get to work. And so they said, hey, if you make a purchase on Topps' website, you get 10% off your first purchase. So it's like, all right, so I'm going to do it. So I bought 10 packs of Topps Total Wave 1. And, I spent it with the discount, it was like $85, $86 or whatever. And I was like, oh, did I just screw up and do something stupid?
Yes.
And yeah, I probably did. Well, later on, we came to find out, and Chris Harris's tweet was the best. Stale Gum tweeted out, ha, 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 ha. 5,837 packs were sold. So that only means 58,000 cards are there. Basically, 200. If you did it by a hobby box of 24 packs now, not 36, it's about 200, a little over 243 hobby boxes that are going to be made of this product. And this includes all the parallels, autographs, knickknacks, whatever they're putting in these, and we're supposed to get them in a couple weeks. So I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. What do you guys think? I just took $85 and lit it on fire?
I'm only hoping that of the 10 packs, however many you open, you pull the 3 twins. And as far as your actual question, the set's definitely not for me, and I don't think it was for any of us when we first brought up the set design. But some of the resale should have a market, I think.
Yeah, I just bought Wave 2 as well, so I'm all in at this point. There's only 9 waves, so what are you gonna do at this point? Did you blow $85? No, you'll get most of that back, if not all of it, because there is a limit to it. The question's going to be dependent upon who you pull out of those packs and what that particular player's resale value is. If you get some of the big name packs, well, there's that too.
I don't know.
When you get them, you're going to kind of have to assess that for yourself. Is what's the resale value? Is there more value in the known quantity of this is the player I'm after, or is there more value in the fact that the thing is all the parallels have to be packed out, right? And we determined there were 16 parallels per player, so there's 1,600 of those cards right off the bat are just parallels.
So what's the math on that, though?
Assuming they actually pack out all of them.
True, but
which is asking a bit much.
At least on the surface, you have to assume for argument's sake.
That's about 27% of the product.
Well, that's going to be really good for people like our friend Twins Jake, who bought this in volume.
Yeah, I spent 80. We'll see. And knowing me, I have a problem keeping stuff sealed. So we will see.
You'll have to monitor eBay once everything kind of hits and determine what are you looking at.
And the thing is like, I don't think we really probably. I started selling a lot more now on the eBay the last month really. Even opened a little store. So not And this kind of motivated that a little bit. It's been pretty successful so far, and it hasn't been as much crazy work as I thought. I do a little bit of work every night out, and I come home. So anyway, it takes it away from the day job. So we saw that down in Texas. Somebody had a good day. The 2019 Bowman Chrome Wander Franco Superfractor Auto was pulled at Steve Baby Shop, S&S Sports Cards, Memorabilia, and more in Amarillo, Texas. BB didn't disclose the exact amount, but did say the card was sold, and it was sold from anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000 because the buyer wanted to remain private. So my question is there any room left to be made, to make money off of this card? Say it sold for, we'll just say the low one. We'll say it sold for $60K, right? It's probably 80. Let's say 80,000 because that's right in the middle, and that's probably what it went for. So say it was 80,000. Do you think it could go ever higher than 80,000?
Ever? Sure.
Sure. I mean, but realistically, what's the realistic?
Well, you're going to have to look at it and say, what ceiling does this kid have? Compared to other, what the Ohtani sell for, like 83,000 or something, or am I off on that number?
I think it's something like that.
It was 100 and something, wasn't it?
And I thought it was. I don't think it was quite that high. I thought it was like 83 or something, because I had predicted it was going to come in around 50, and it surpassed that, but I don't think doubled it. But at the end of the day,
sold for 184,000.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I don't think it sold for that. That's ridiculous.
Pulled from Sacramento, California, by the way.
So, what's this kid's ceiling? I mean, again, Ohtani was in a slightly different boat. I mean, to get much more than $80,000, this kid's going to have to be a perennial all-star. But then you're also having to look at it. You're going to have to sit on this card for 7 to 10 years to probably get a decent enough return to have shelled out 80 grand.
Until he makes his major league debut. He just turned 18 in March, right? So you got to think, say, at least 2 more years in the minors. So because he would debut, say, in his 20s, right? At 20, he currently is hitting 284 with 3 bombs, 12 RBIs, and 14 walks. But he struck out 13 times and 102 at bats. So we'll see.
Also, real quick though, here's the thing: me, you, Steph, probably everybody in our chat room, anybody listening, we're not. Hell, collectively, we might not be in the market to be able to put our money together to buy this kind of a card. I mean, I don't know everybody's personal finances, but
wouldn't you rather have a 1952 Mickey Mantle grade 10?
Well, you're asking the wrong people, because the obvious answer for us is yes.
He's not gonna. He's a known. My thing is he's a known quantity. He's a Mickey and Mantle.
Right. Well, you're also talking about somebody like that knucklehead Vegas Dave. You're talking about somebody like that shelled out this kind of money, hoping to Trout.
And that was at least it was Mike Trout, and at least Mike Trout had won some MVPs. He's been an all-star. He is the face of baseball. That makes somewhat more sense, spending $400,000 on that card that he did, than whatever this 80,000 or whatever this guy Yahoo spent for Rondo Franco.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, you asked if there was money to be made. Yes, maybe. But you're talking about a select few, a very small group of people that either A, would be interested, or B, have the financial wherewithal.
Crazy people with crazy money. I'm just saying. But this kid would have to come up in the next 2 to 3 years, right? Because if he doesn't debut by 21, when he started minor league baseball at 17, if he doesn't show up within the first 4 years, then there's something going on with this kid where he's not going to make it. Bubba Starling's still in AAA, and he's like 40 years old with the Royals.
Well,
and that was a fun thing. I'm just saying, but Franco would have to come up, and he would have to be the next top. He would have to be better than Correa, Bregman, Bogarts. I mean, you name any of the Bryant, he would have to be better than all of those guys right now than they are right now. That's what he would have to come up and do instantly to even make this card worth that price tag. Right?
Easily.
Because he plays middle infield. Like, he would have to be a superstar player, or at least show that potential. So the day he debuted, this card's a $200,000 card that makes major league debut.
Well, and this is something that Ben hit on the previous week, and Dub just mentioned in chat that based on his Twitter timeline, he's signing everything before game, after game, going to the car, the auto itself, and really the card, just because it's stamped 1/1, there's just only so much you can make on it.
Well, if you take somebody like Gary V, right, who we talk about a lot because right now he's just the poster child of the hobby. He's got a net worth of $180 million. What's 80 grand to somebody like him? But if you turn that around, if he doubled his money, what's 160 grand?
But I'm not talking about the money. I'm just talking about the player himself. Like, he would have to be really good. I mean, Dub says, will he be better than Howie Kendrick? I don't know if Wander Franco is going to be a better MLB player than Howie Kendrick.
Well, and then even more so on the card front, there's only so many people that say he turns out to be the next coming of Mike Trout. Unlikely, but let's play fantasy.
Okay, let's say he's Mike Trout.
Sure. At a certain point, there's only so much in the hobby that we have that card can get bumped. There might be someone who can afford $160,000 who flips it for $250,000, who flips it for $500,000. But at a certain point, there's just a market that's not there for, hey, this is 2 cards. I'm not going to spend $1 million each.
Yeah. The other thing too is what team name is on his jersey?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm putting it out there. They don't really have a deep fan base.
And how many years before he gets traded?
Yeah.
6, 7.
Just look. Do you think about Alex Gordon as a Royal? And I know I get Royal centric a little bit, but he was like the number 2 pick in the draft. He was the college player of the year. He had all these accolades coming behind him. He's been a decent Major League Baseball player. But for a long time, he was the next, this guy's the one you have to have. Oh, it's all about Alex Gordon. All this craziness about Alex Gordon. He's made a couple All-Star teams, I think. He's got a couple Gold Gloves. He has a World Series ring.
I'll do you one better.
Byron Buxton?
No, not even. Further back. Right before Harper, Trout, and Strasburg. Gordon Beckham.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Everybody and their mother had to have Gordon Beckham. Gordon Beckham, Bowman, his tops. Oh, sorry. His tops. Did he even make an All-Star team?
No. And he flamed out. I remember I bought a Posey. It's a Bowman Sterling, I think, of Posey and Beckham. I got for like $40. And the guy said I had to sell at a discount because Beckham's on the card. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, like Deb says, Franco is not Evan Longoria. If he's not even as good as Evan Longoria, you can buy Longoria all day long. And the Longoria Super Factor never appeared. So we talked about that as the best race card ever, the card that never populated. So,
well, and one last thought is, if he were an Oakland A, you're not going to find anybody who's a bigger Oakland A's collector than I am. But I don't have $80,000 lying around.
But if you did, if you had stupid Gary V money,
that's a
call-in money, right? You have your Rolexes on your both hands, right?
And your Fossil watch.
Well, and I always ask about cost. Cost is relative to the person, right? Desire versus need. If I think I've mentioned this analogy before. Would you buy $100,000 car on a $50,000 budget? No, but if you had $300,000, it's 33% of your gross wages per year. But a $50,000 person would spend 25, which is 50%. So when you're talking about ratios and things, yeah, if I had Gary Vee stupid money and it's a card I wanted, sure, what the hell?
Yeah.
What's 80 grand? It's a drop in the bucket. My interest will make that up by the end of the month.
Yeah. I'm just saying,
yeah.
Those things, like I don't see this card being it doubling in price ever. So that's just me. And I think one day I'll probably be able to buy it for $1,000. And I would do it for the story.
Right now, the market's never going to be better for this card. At least over the next 5+ years.
Sell it now. So as Steph showed, both Wander Franco Superfractors are in the hands of BGS, so they don't trim them. They're not trimmed or anything. Both Wander Franco, so it's the non-auto and the auto, are both sitting down in Dallas. So interesting.
So you're saying we need to get an Ocean's 11 of collectors and go heist?
Yeah.
What road are they off of? Freeport? No.
Yeah, they're right there on McEwen Drive. It tells you right there at the top.
It does.
McEwen.
About 20 minutes from me.
Let's go, Steph. I'll be on the next flight.
Alrighty, let's do it.
Just brings it up.
I don't have dibs on the Tom Cruise scene for Mission Impossible, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
I don't think those beams can support them.
Tom Cruise is terrible, so I don't. We're gonna do Ocean's 11. I'm Danny Ocean, and Steph.
Obviously.
And that would make you'd be basically
I'm Casey
Julia
Affleck.
Roberts.
what?
I'm Scott Conn and Casey Affleck all wrapped up in one.
But you're more Casey Affleck than anything.
I'm the two of them, but I'm also kind of the old guy. I can't think of his name. Carl. I can't believe I just drew a blank on his name.
Reiner.
Carl Reiner. I'm kind of him. I'm like the old curmudgeon.
No, you don't say.
So
I do say. I say all the time. That's what my point.
We talked about grading in the past, and I just kind of wanted to, and it kind of led us into this as we get going. We're talking about Ohtani. We're talking about Leaf graded cards. We're talking about Wander Franco Superfractors and their BGS. It leads us to grading: the good, the bad, the ugly. So I just want us to go through and talk about what's good about grading. And I would say none of us are active graders. I've never sent a card in to be graded. I have some graded cards. I know Ben has at least one. I think we've talked about before. No, not sure about Steph, but just in general, what would you say is a benefit to, and take your personal collecting preferences out? If someone came up to you and just said, "Tell me what's good about grading. If I have this card that I would like to get graded, what's good about it?"
So there are a few key ones, but I would say that the argument could be made that it's good for verifying that what you have is legit. Maybe not so much this past 6 months, but verifying that what you have is legit, especially for pre-war stuff. Most people won't buy that unless it is slabbed. To protect your cards, especially again those pre-war and vintage era cards. If you have a 68 Mickey Mantle and a sleeve and a top loader, yeah, that's nice, and it has the UV coating and the UV protection, but encapsulated, it doesn't move around as much. It protects it better. Is the argument that I've always heard. I personally don't have many done, but I have a few.
Yeah.
I've never done it myself.
And you live,
like you said, Tim.
Just said you live 20 minutes away.
I do.
You have to pay shipping. You go pick it up. All of this great stuff, and you live right down the street, and you've never done it.
Nope.
By the way, for a small fee, if you ship them the stuff, he will walk them over to Beckett for you.
And for a small fee, we're also
on film.
Oh, well, naturally.
He will do a personalized Periscope video, a la Ivan,
Hey.
and
I would have to.
He'll be like,
I would have to get up there more often to the actual work office. But we are also a ComC drop-off spot. FWIW.
oh, look at you! Look at you!
Indeed.
TBS cards on eBay. So Ben, what do you think's good about grading? You've had some anti-grading tweets in the last day or two.
I do. I own less than 10 graded cards. Most of them Mickey Mantle, all bought that way. A couple of McGuire rookies. So I think Steph hit it on the head. I mean, the best thing, the merit that you would kind of stick to would be the authentication process. It's an authentic card. But then the other side, like let's say you were me on Twitter, you would say, well, it's an arbitrary process. Human eyes are looking at it. So, you know, how and with all of the bad facsimile autos and stuff that they've graded, come on. You know, you're basing it, you know, it's easy to manipulate. It's easy to slide some cash in there.
I'm talking about good stuff because we're getting into the bad and the ugly.
Okay. Well, and that's the thing, though.
Card and you know what it is. You know it's authentic. You know it's a real card, supposedly, and that it's unaltered and it's what it says it is, right? So that's the good thing.
I mean, yeah, that would be the idea behind it. Yeah. In theory, it would be to authenticate it before it would be to raise the value, but there is an associated value. People like to buy these low pop cards because to them it has an intricate value above a raw card.
Yeah. So there's that. And I agree with all that. And I get that. And like I have probably less than 25 graded cards and all bought secondary market. And like I've talked before, I really didn't, you know, some fun little collections I was doing with some guys and stuff. And, you know, I thought about one time I'd doing, you know, submitting a lot of grading. And then I was like, you know what, got it, looked into it. And I'm like, you know what? No, done. I don't.
Well, and you know, perfect example. One that I just picked out, like you, I think I maybe have 10 graded cards. But the 90 Donruss Aqueous Kirby Puckett that I picked up, according to PSA, I think it's PSA. They verified that, yes, that's a 1990 Donruss Aqueous test card of Kirby Puckett. It's not been reprinted. It's not been trimmed. It's not been messed with. This is what it is. That's a good use of the service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then we get to the back. So we've heard a lot about products with trimmed graded cards. You know, we've seen the broken cases getting shipped back. We've seen facsimile autos graded, and we can kind of include the ugly in this because that's pretty ugly. We've seen, you know, the customer service and the turn times be terrible. I've seen ones where the tags inside are upside down or they've fallen out, and it's okay. Well, whatever, you know, if you figured out your card. Right. You know, people cracking them and getting them regraded with the same, if not, or a different grading company. We've seen fake grading companies. Now, if you're going to
having them submitted multiple times and getting a better grade the second time around,
or having someone else submit it for you and they go, "Oh, it's from so and so. I know him. Yep. He sends us a lot of cards." Yeah. Let's make sure these are graded really good. Hence, right? So it's a hard thing. Like Ben said, it's judgmental on it. It's someone's eyes, it's someone's opinion, and it's not truly based on fact, correct? It's how you perceive the facts.
Sorry for anyone that saw that.
Oh no, your camera's still.
I remember.
I timed out someone in chat.
No,
I remember submitting a very important paper during my when I was going to get a master's, and the teacher had given me a less than favorable grade on this particular paper. And it was like, you know, an 85%, right? So it wasn't a bad grade. It was just less than I thought it deserved. And so we had our teacher's cell phone number. So I called him and said, hey, what did I do wrong to deserve this? You know, just let me have this as a learning opportunity. And he's like, I honestly couldn't tell you what your paper was about. He goes, I grade so many papers. To be honest, I probably didn't give it as much time as I should have. And he reevaluated it and he gave me an A. And he goes, you know, your paper was much better. It was just caught in a stack of papers and I was trying to get through them. And so I probably skimmed it. My fault. If that's not a reflection of what grading is, it's like they're seeing so many cards, but this is what you do for a living.
Yeah, but it's where they make their money. But I can tell you how it works. I mean, real quick, Dub says, I think you can blame a lot of the negative on the sheer volume of grading demand. So as you bring up versus the companies and the certified graders within those companies available to the process. So, but the thing is, it's like, okay, how many people are capable of grading cards the way they want? And how many people are they willing to hire to be able to do that? And the cost,
and how many, and what quality grader are they?
Yeah, and then the cost goes up because now you have more employees, and you got to think that you got to pay that employee, you got to pay the benefits, and all this. There's other costs, associated costs involved with that. So then, where are you going to pass? So you're not going to take that loss. You got to pass that cost on to your customer, and so it's just kind of this vicious cycle of this is what it's going to be. And the guy that had the podcast before Eric Norton was on there, and then Eric joins him. He was a grader, and his name slips my mind at the moment.
Andy Broom?
Was it? It wasn't Andy Broom, was it?
No. Gosh, dang it. We've talked about him on the show before. He seems like a great guy. And
Steve Grad?
No, he does authentication. Anyway, but he's a grader. He talks about how hard it is, and they're like and he had to give up doing the podcast, an hour podcast a week. He had to give up to grade. He couldn't spare think about it. Roughly, we'd spend 2 hours a week. I mean, we have the show is an hour or so, and we might spend an extra hour throughout the week putting it together. He couldn't spare that time because he was grading so much.
Well, and
that tells me they're just and when you work for a corporation and Beckett's not making money based on off their website, they're not making money off selling that magazine, right? We've talked about that before. So the grading is where they're making their money. The authentication with Steve Grad when they brought him over, that's where they're making their money now. So they're gonna take these guys and 12 hours, go for it, buddy. See ya. Go in that dungeon.
I've mentioned this before. I had one time owned a 1956 Ted Williams that was graded a 4, and the guy paid $125 for it, and that's what he sold it to me for. And some financial stuff came up around the time Bentley was born, and I was recovering from a knee injury, so I had to sell it. So I sold it for $125. It was like, I'm not trying to. I just need my money back at this point, and I told the guy that bought it from me the same thing that the guy that I bought it from said to me: crack it open, resubmit it, because it was absolutely a 7 or an 8. And I probably, had I had the time and the effort, but again, was it? I mean, I'm assuming it was. It looked like it was, but then again, I'm not a professional grader, quote unquote. So, am I just wasting money? And that brings me to the other point that grading is just cost prohibitive. It's unless you have a card like this Wander Franco, if you have something that's gonna, have a tremendous amount of
you're grading one of ones. There's nothing else to compare it to.
No, I mean,
right. So what if it comes back at 8.5, bro? Like,
then that's what it is. I mean, and what are they going to do on this Bowman? For centering. How do you grade this one on centering?
Yeah.
The bottom line is it's grading's not for everybody. To me, I will be 100% adamant that grading is an absolute Ponzi scheme and a scam. It's not for me.
I bought an 86 Topps football set, and 3 cards are graded in it: the Rice rookie, the Young rookie, and the Andre Reed rookie. And the Rice and the Young are 7s. There's 7s or 8s, and then the reed's a 9. And I'm gonna get out my pliers and crack those babies open and put them in my binder so I can look at them and enjoy them with the rest of the set once I get to that point. And I don't care. It's not going to bother me. I didn't pay to get them graded. I don't think I paid more for my completed set because those cards were graded. At least it let me know what the rice might be. I mean, that's probably the key card in that set. So. And it leads us into another discussion, Ben, that you had on Twitter this week. I thought was really good that you brought up in-person autographs. Do you like them or dislike them? So, if you're at a show, at the ball game, at the grocery store, you're at Morton's having a steak, you're at the strip club and you run into one of these guys and you get an autograph. Do you like an in-person auto? Or would you rather have a pack?
Why doesn't Steph go on this before I do?
So I'm going to pull up a picture here from, assuming I can find it off Twitter, but time and place. At a restaurant, I'm not going to even bother to interrupt an athlete, and unless they're the face of baseball, the face of the Twins, I probably won't know who they are anyway. I'm horrible with faces and names. What's your guys' names again? No. But if I'm at the game and I have a ball on me, or I caught one pregame during batting practice, and Miguel Sano just happens to walk past me on his way to the dugout, hey, yeah, sure, I'll line up with everyone else. Now, he doesn't sign it. Hey, so be it. Hey, have a great game. But, that's a whole lot different than going to seeing someone at a restaurant or on their way at a bowling game, trying to relax. They want time away from fans and the game. They want to get their headspace right, not be bothered by people. And then one person turns into 3, and 3 turns into a swarm of people. And now it's not relaxing for them. That's not what I would want, and I'm not going to impose that on them.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not a huge in-person autograph guy. If it does, like Steph, if the opportunity happens at a ball game, yeah. Dub mentions, he doesn't like the dude that's up there with 8, a binder full of cards for someone to sign. That's not me either. The other thing too is about those autographs is that they're always not the best. And I much rather if you're going to do something like that, do TTM, do through the mail autographs. Obviously there's a couple guys that are trying to make sets. I know Pat Neshek's one of them. He's doing I think it was an 85 top set. And then, obviously he has more access to current players. And so he does the current year set and he tries to get those autographs, at the ball games. But, through the mail's probably a better way. I just don't like the way they look versus if you get a pack pulled one or one from that was meant to be autographed that had the space for it. And it's just, it's in a certain spot and it's not all over the place with a random pen or marker. That's my thought. I mean, I'm not a huge autograph guy anyway. I just like the cards, and if I have an autograph, cool. If not, I'm all right too. I think I only own about 3 or 4 George Brett autos. So I know, Ben, what are your thoughts?
The other day, my tweet was really simple. It just said personal preference. I hate, or I think I said in-person autos are the worst. And really it was kind of tongue in cheek in a sense because, Michael Scott at one point in the series of The Office says, this is the worst. And so it was more kind of that direction. But over the last 2-3 months, when searching players, it just seems like I'm seeing more and more in-person autos come up. And I don't want to see those in my eBay feeds. Those are not things that should be sold. At least not to the degree that they're being sold. And that was kind of my direction. And it's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I was attacked by some. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish your point there. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say some guy that doesn't follow me that I've never had an interaction with said, basically that I'm weird because I would prefer a selfie over or a handshake over a card, and his point was, the card has their likeness on it, so it's meant to be autographed. But wanting a picture or a handshake is weird, and I'm just like, and then he proceeded to call me some names, and I blocked him, so he called me some more names, and I'm just like, dude. If you want to get a card autographed, and again, it's time and place, like we've mentioned. If I'm at a private signing or at a card show where the guy is, a special guest, at the national where they bring in people to autograph, or regional things where they bring in certain players, I'm good with that. But the guy's at work, and you're bothering him while he's at work. And if he's walking by you and you want to throw your hand out there and he shakes it or gives you a fist bump, cool. If he takes the time, I don't need his autograph to justify my fandom. It doesn't complete my personal collection. And like Dub mentioned, my follow-up was, I don't like the guys out there with those big photo album books that have countless cards. Some people probably are legitimate, my cousin being one. Other people that I know personally probably are doing that specifically for their personal collection.
And what Brian Bice does a bunch, and usually at the Ports games. I mean, he's a regular down there, so it's a little different when he's going out and he's doing it there too. Minor league, it's a little more of a norm, right? As guys are coming up, boosts their ego a little bit and stuff, and that's kind of what everybody's expected at a game. But my whole thing is there's some acceptable times for this. You mentioned like at a show, at a personal signing. I know our LCS has occasionally. I know that De'Aaron Fox was down there last year. And the only other time I would see is acceptable is if you ran into a guy and you were doing a personal signing, and this is when you get it authenticated. You don't get it graded. You just get the authenticity of the autograph done through the grading company. Is Bogdan Bogdanović of the Kings, right? He doesn't have any rookie issued cards with his autograph on them, but the LCS had an opportunity to meet up with him, had him sign a handful of cards, and then had those graded just as authentic autographs. So it doesn't grade the card; it just says, "Hey, this autograph is authentic to this player," and here you go. So it's like basically that saying on the back, "Hey, it guarantees this autograph." And to me, that's probably one of the better ways to go about in doing it. I think that autographs like that, if you're going to buy them, should have that authentication grade on them. They don't even have to be graded, but I'll just authenticated. And when you sell it, you should advertise that it's in-person autograph and it wasn't pack issued. Because I think another thing that was brought up was like Chris Paddock of the Padres, an up-and-coming kid. His first Bowman, somebody was selling his first Bowman Chrome card with an autograph on the front, but it wasn't the first Bowman Chrome auto. It was just a Chrome card that had been signed in person. So do you think that it's on the seller, the buyer, or both to be aware?
Well, and it depends on what card it is. The particular one that was brought up, the Bowman Chrome or Topps Chrome Auto, it actually says on the front, top certified, whatnot. But some of them don't have that on the front. And if you're only going to include a picture of that on the front, the picture of the front image of the card, you're doing a disservice to your potential buyers by not showing the back to say that, hey, this was in person, not, because on the back of cards, they'll usually have the top certified that this was signed by such and such with representative, or they're legally saying that, hey, this is legit. But if you're not going, you have to know what they look like. But if you're not if you're not able to see both pictures, that's on the seller too.
Yeah. The onus in that situation is always on the seller. You've got to clarify and be completely, complete transparency. This is hand signed. It's in person. You're basically buyers. Buy at your own risk. You know,
I have I have an autograph. I don't even see it. I think I took it down. But I have an autograph with Mariano Rivera when we were on our cruise ship, and I think I've talked about this before. And I actually have a picture with him right after he's signing it. And there's a picture of me much younger and tanner version of me standing next to him signing it. And then there's a picture of him and me standing next to him. He was shaking my hand. I'm just totally distant. I'm just standing there like, whatever, bro. That's a few bros tonight. And the thing that is, it was cool because they had set it up for him to sign autographs and baseballs and all this stuff there. And, we paid for that experience, and that was cool. But to me, it was just, hey, man, this guy's a top, maybe the best reliever of all time. He's the only, 100% Hall of Famer. But the experience of, even if I didn't get an autograph and I just had the picture with him and getting here to ask him a question, was as valuable or more than getting that autograph. I could care less about the autograph. I totally forgot about him. This was in 2004. And I forgot about the autographs until about 2 years ago. So over a decade, they were in a box somewhere and I didn't even care, So if you're going to be a good seller, you share that information. If you're a bad seller, you're not. You're going to try to take advantage of somebody, and they don't.
You have to assume that not everyone looking at your listing knows what they're looking at. It could be a family member, a wife buying for a husband. It could be a brand new collector. APK Sports I don't have the results of his poll, but he ran a poll yesterday because he was the one that brought up the Chris Paddock card that was signed in person. The seller didn't identify that. And he's like, that's shady. And it's like, complete transparency. Just, hey, dude, if it's an in-person, just say it's an in-person. It alleviates a lot of headaches on behalf of the seller for somebody to say, hey, I didn't know this wasn't certified, that I didn't know as a buyer that you got it at the park. And just one last thing on the grading of it. If you actually slab an in-person auto, you are the worst of the worst. In fact, the guy that was calling me names showed me, he's like, these are my in-person autos. And it's like, but why'd you grade them, guy? You're actually making my argument for me.
See, I wouldn't grade. I would just get them authenticated. That's what I would say.
Because why? I asked my wife earlier before the show, because she's not a collector. I said, why would you grade an in-person auto? And she goes, because you're looking to sell it at some point. It doesn't that defeat the purpose of getting the guy's autograph? I'm getting it for me, for my collection, or I'm getting it for my kid, or maybe a family member, right? If the Twins minor league team blew through Stockton, which is right outside of where I live, and Steph's like, hey, you're going to the game this weekend. Is there a way you can get so-and-so's autograph for me? All right, cool. But other than that, it's still going into a personal collection. It may not be mine, but I'm getting it for a friend. But I sure as hell wouldn't grade it. Come on now. Be serious.
No,
I know why you graded it.
Yeah.
It's like, you're the worst of the worst, dude. But thank you for calling me names and proving my point while you did it.
Yeah, just some fun things on Twitter. As we end the show tonight, we always like a good argument. And go out and buy all your graded Wander Francos today. I'm not saying don't buy them. Buy what you want, and if you think he's the next dude, then more power to you. It'd be great. Enjoy what you collect, and if you're not having fun doing it, then why do it? I'm excited this week that there's a card show this Saturday, and I'll be out there in the morning. I'm actually meeting up with Scotty. Hopefully, he's going to be there. I got a big box for Scott, and go find some fun stuff. I don't think Ben's going to be able to make it, but that's cool.
Nope, got T-ball. I've only got 2 more weeks of T-ball.
Perfect excuse, though. And hey, you know what? They've had more shows lately because it seemed like it was like once a quarter, right?
Yeah, now it's like every other month.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's good. I get to go to the zoo after that, though. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I don't need to go to every show. I'm good going to a couple a year. I would definitely go if Bentley didn't have his softball, or excuse me, T-ball, but he's got like 4 more games.
And to be honest, the show where they host it's 10 minutes from my house, maybe. So I feel bad if I don't go. Even if just show up, look around, shake some hands, sign some autographs. And
absolutely.
And I authenticate them myself with my own grading, Big Chef grading. I authenticate them right there on the spot and slab them up for you.
Oh, so
Well, see,
some other companies in the area.
and the other thing too, real quick on shows is right now there's really nothing on my radar of stuff I absolutely need. Yeah, I still need 8,000 base and inserts dating back to 1909 to complete my A's Master team set or Master collection, but that's not the place to get that kind of stuff. So I'd just be going there to blow some money. Probably hit up Dion. Probably hit up Dion, who's got all the wires.
It's got some fun stuff.
But that's all.
Lucky. I think that show in there's I can count, like, depending on what you want to buy, there's a variety of sellers there. A lot, one guy with a lot of new wax at a normal price, and one guy with new wax at, I'm gonna stomp on that guy's throat over there and just cut prices. And then you have all your the dealers. And I think we have 5 or 6 really good dealers there, and only like one really big asshole, and that's the one guy with all the graded cards. Oh, weird. Anyway, so guys, any final thoughts as we wrap up the show this week? Our 47th, we're almost there. We're almost to 52. That's a whole year's worth of shows. But any final thoughts tonight?
No, not really. I hope you guys have a much better week than I've had so far as health and family. And as always, tag us with what's in your mail, any questions. The usual.
Yeah.
Give us something to talk about.
Yeah, we love it. Share it with us. All right, guys. Well, make sure that remember that we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 Central on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and review our show on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher. Follow us on Twitter about the cards. Follow Ben at our trading cards. You can always follow Steph at Junkwax Twins. And follow me, Big Shep 79. I also want a last quick shout out to Doc Breaks. Now, we had some issues with the iTunes last week, and he hopped in and we actually talked on the phone. He's had a hockey podcast for like 10 years, and he was helping with some stuff. So we were getting so many hits through the way we send the podcast off to iTunes that it was meeting the request every day. And so that's why there were issues getting it downloaded. And so if you have problems, notify me through DM. I noticed that if you close the iTunes or restart your phone, sometimes that does help. But it's been an issue on that side. We're looking into a few options that could be helpful. We might even be looking to expand and do the shows on a different platform, maybe, because we are getting big, and Doc Breaks might be helping us out there with that. So that'd be cool. We're waiting to see, but be patient with us. Let us know as we grow here. We're trying to figure it out. But you always can watch the show on YouTube and listen in that way as well. I know it's not as convenient, but we appreciate everybody listening to the show. I mean, seriously, when I was told that, I was like, there's no way. And he's like, yeah, man. He goes, it's whatever's happening. So many people are requesting the show. It's making issues. So thank you, but I do apologize, and we're going to get it fixed for you. And like Steph said, remember to share your hobby stories and polls and questions and all that fun stuff with us. And just keep collecting. We'll talk to you next week. See ya.
Yep. Have fun.